Have I ever experienced a blackout? Well, that's kind of a funny question, because if I say yes, then how do I know I did? But I'll tell you how I know. One time I was down in Palm Springs working years ago, and I was driving down the highway. I'd been drinking heavy all day, and I was driving down the highway, and it's a drunk-a-log, so hang in there. So I'm driving down the road, and the road's starting to, the traffic is doubling up. The road's not getting any bigger, there's no more traffic, but in my eyes, I'm seeing 2 cars at a time coming towards me. So, being the responsible drunk I was, I pulled over the side of the road, shut the car off, went to sleep, and I had a t-shirt on. Now I remember this part of it, there's no problem remembering it, but I woke up to this knocking on the window, and it was a local police from Desert Hot Springs, and this cop, he's there, and there's another cop with him, and I was south of Dillon, which is just, thank goodness, out of Desert Hot Springs area, just across the road. So anyhow, this guy said, "What's going on?" And then I looked down at my t-shirt. I had laid there, or sat there, and puked a little bit, and I had mess coming down my t-shirt, and in those years there was a lot of shootings on the freeway, so I think they thought I was shot, and people and then I look, and there's a police car behind me, and a police car ahead of me, and a tow truck ahead of it, and an ambulance. And I'm thinking, I'm starting to sober up now. So this one cop says to me, he says, would you roll down your window? So I roll down the window. This guy says, "You've been drinking." I said, "Well, of course I was drinking. Why else would I park on the side of the freeway?" Well, that kind of annoyed this cop. So he says, "I'm going to lock you up." And he was from Desert Hot Springs, and this other guy who was from a county of Riverside, he said, "No, he's in my jurisdiction. I'm taking him to Indio." So he handcuffs me and takes me to Indio, to jail. And in the morning, they let me out. So next day, I go and get my car and get a taxi back there and get the car, go to work on a Monday morning. And there's a guy there that I've worked with a few months, and he said, "What did you think of my family Sunday?" Now, I got arrested Sunday night. I do not ever remember going to his place. But he tells me, and now the alcoholic is quick on his feet, and I'm thinking, shit, something's wrong with this. And so I start quizzing him a little bit at a time. And he says, "Yeah, remember I give you the gate code to come in." So he must have given me the gate code. I come through the gate, and he says, "Remember meeting my son?" And I said, "Oh, yeah. What does he do again?" And he's telling me, well, thank goodness he's telling me, because I've got no recollection of even being in his house. I ate dinner there, met his wife, and left. And then I went out, and all this other stuff happened. So I often think, what other times did I black out? And how many other times that nobody has triggered it the next day and said, "Oh, what did you think of my family?" What other stuff, how many times does that happen? And that's a very scary thing. And I gotta live with that, because who knows what this alcoholic did when he was in a blackout. So when somebody says to me they're in a blackout, I know that what they're saying is true. They have no recollection of it, what happened. I'm not saying if somebody mass murdered somebody that he could use that. It's not an excuse. It's just what alcohol does to your mind. So yes, I've been in a blackout, and that's the only one I can really recall. And the only reason I can recall it is because this guy started quizzing me in my mind through all, but I can still, here it is probably 40 years later, I cannot recall going to that man's house. So
that's going to be a terrifying experience thinking about it afterwards, right?
It is. It is, but it's also terrifying in the sense, how many other times did that happen? That's a scary part.
But it links in well with what you always say about the 3 outcomes of addiction.
Well, that's the truth. You're either at some point you're going to sober up, or get covered up, or get locked up. And that day, I just got locked up. But you know, and then years later I sobered up, and I suppose someday I'll be covered up, but I'm in no hurry for that.